Hey folks, you're watching Ethology Pro. Zmay here. Today, we're going to continue our biological experiments with a bit of deep tissue dissection. I'm going to dig a little deeper with the scalpel today, specifically to make some of you feel uncomfortable. I want this to sting. Let's talk about something fundamental. Why and how does a man who simply wants comfort and understanding in a relationship end up becoming a victim? Not just a victim of his own biological hardwiring, but a victim of massive social manipulations, often ending up with a psychological diagnosis to boot. If we look at this from a purely biological standpoint, we have to weigh the original goals of nature. Why did the Paleolithic era shape us this way? Why did humans develop differently from chimpanzees? It was pure biology, group protection, resource acquisition, and fierce competition. Status, autonomy, and the drive to be a warrior, a provider, and a protector. A man was supposed to be a force of nature. So, how did we go from being biological warrior explorers to becoming convenient executors? We started as joyful predators, and now we've become slippery reptiles. What the hell happened? Let's look at how progress has smoothed out the sharp edges of masculinity. I call these the stag's mistakes, or as we say in the community, the beta traps. Trap number 1, the comfort loop. We've talked about this: bad diet, lack of physical exertion, and the total absence of real, life-threatening stakes. When your food is guaranteed by a refrigerator, your instincts go dull. Your hormones drop. Your readiness to fight vanishes. Why strain yourself when everything is provided? And once you step on this path, you start making the fatal errors of a nice guy. You're fed social narratives alongside your sugar. Concepts like toxic masculinity. This isn't about stopping violence. It's about banning any manifestation of your own opinion, your strength, or your will. From childhood, you are told, a man must listen, understand, and comply. They call it emotional labor. But let's be real, it's not empathy. It's the depersonalization of the male through the destruction of his boundaries. You are trained to suppress aggression, to kill your drive for dominance, and eventually, to kill your own I. You become a passive observer of your own life, terrified of offending anyone. Now, look at how this convenience is weaponized. Your life turns into indentured servitude. You become a production unit, a slave to obligations that no one else is required to follow. Take the modern marriage contract. In reality, the woman owes you absolutely nothing. The family code that regulates these relationships is a one-sided, practically master-slave agreement. For a man, it's a predatory deal. Let me remind you what she is not obligated to do. She is not obligated to be faithful. She is not obligated to care for you. She doesn't have to give birth to your children specifically. She can have as many lovers as she wants. There is zero legal punishment for infidelity. She has no obligation to preserve the family. Paternity fraud is practically legal. You can be forced to pay for a child that isn't yours. And in the case of divorce, the children stay with the mother. The man's assets are stripped. The alimony timer starts ticking, followed by state-enforced repression if you can't pay. Why? Because the state finds it inexpedient to pursue mothers. They have no money and they make too much noise. But a man is a quiet, reliable resource. So, gosh, the stag walks into this trap, thinking he's being a real man by doing his duty. He never asks where this debt came from or why he owes it to this specific woman. If he starts asking uncomfortable questions, he's simply replaced. Who benefits? Cui bono? The system. The system loves the convenient family man because he is the perfect gear in the machine. He won't rebel. He's tied down by debt. He has little money and too much work. He's easy to control, the ultimate consumer and the ultimate servant. When a man gives up his own resources and his own life, he becomes part of a collective life where his interests are never the priority. Whether it's the family or society, you have surrendered your I to someone else's disposal. The punishment? The total consumption of your energy, your assets, and your soul. You walked in voluntarily. by the end of his life, when the stag is empty and useless, the system writes him off. Your boss, your wife, it doesn't matter. They've extracted what they needed. Now, go die in the field. George Orwell said it best. If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. And that is exactly what we are doing here. I think I've thrown enough onto the fire for today. It's time for you to use whatever is left of your brain. Try to recognize the traps you step into every single day. Stop being the convenient stag that society and the family unit are trying to mold you into. Reclaim your biological role. I don't mean go back to a cave, but learn to live in society as an autonomous, productive man capable of defending his own interests. Not everyone can do it. Not everyone wants to. I'm not here to judge. I don't give advice. I just present the dissection. Write what you think in the comments. This was Zame. I'll see you in the next episode. Stay dangerous.